What up, what up, what up? We back on the channel today, and in this video, I'll be going over my predictions for the upcoming NFL playoffs. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, let's start things off with the AFC. We'll start off with the Texans versus the Chargers. So, I feel like these teams had completely different routes, right? The Texans started off really well. They were very healthy at the beginning of the year. Obviously, you had the electric offense with C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins, Stephon joining the team, Tank Dell back from injury, and everyone thought the Texans would just be like amazing. And they started off really well, even though C.J. Stroud was struggling, but they've definitely cooled off recently. Meanwhile, the Chargers, they started off decently, and they had like a really rough middle stretch of the year, but they've ended the year really, really well. And the Chargers, I think, are just like they're the better team right now. They have the Jim Harbaugh mentality. They have the run game going. They've gotten Justin Herbert going. He's been playing really great football. He's turned the ball over very few times. He's been efficient, effective, and he's been like essentially the perfect quarterback for Jim Harbaugh's offense. So the Texans are struggling right now. The Chargers are firing on all cylinders. The Chargers' defense has been amazing as of late. And I just think this is pointing towards the Chargers winning this game. So I just got to go with the Chargers. They've been the better team, especially as of late. Only thing that I can say for the Texans is they have home field advantage and they have CJ Stroud. So, like, even though CJ Stroud has had a down year, I just feel like it's going to be hard to count him out. But again, the Chargers are just playing so much better right now, and they have the healthier team, the better team, I think. So I think the Chargers win this first wildcard game. On to the next one. We got Ravens-Steelers. As a Steelers fan, it's hard to pick against your team, but they've been playing horribly as of late. Entering the playoffs on a really bad losing streak. Russell Wilson does not look like the same player he was when he first was starting for the Steelers in his first couple weeks. The offense looks very murky and just mid at best in the games, and at worst, they just look like an incompetent offense. The play calls are horrible by Arthur Smith. He needs to definitely step up his game for this playoff game, if we even have a chance. Or for us to even have a chance, Arthur Smith needs to call a better game. That's just as simple as that, right? Like, the offense needs to be better. Our defense has also been leaky as of late, but I feel like that's more so a product of the offense just being so horrible that the defense just has to be out there for so many snaps, and it just gets tired. And we've also been dealing with injuries on the defensive side of the ball, so everything is going wrong for the Steelers. Only thing I could see that like allows the Steelers to win is the fact that Zay Flowers is like hurt for the Ravens, and I just think like that might help. Because obviously that's their wide receiver one, and I don't know. It requires the Steelers to have to play a very low scoring defensive style game, which the Steelers love to play, right? But I just don't know if the Ravens will be able to like be stopped on the offense side of the ball, because you still have Derrick Henry, you still have Lamar, who's been playing at an MVP type level. It's gonna be hard to stop the Ravens offense even without Zay Flowers. They still got Bateman. He's a really solid wide receiver. And obviously they got Mark Andrews, an elite tight end. So, I don't know. I wish I had more faith in my team, but I just don't. I'll go Ravens to win this game. And the Steelers' late season and playoff collapse happens once again, like it almost happens every single year. There's always a point in the season where I have hope. Sometimes it's like near the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, sometimes the end of the year. And then when it comes to playoff time, the team just collapses. I'm expecting that again, so I'll go with the Ravens. Then Bills-Broncos. I love Bo Nix. I love what he's been doing for the Broncos. He has a really bright future. Sean Payton has done really well in developing him as of this point, obviously. Broncos have an elite defense. And the Bills, obviously, like, they've been one of the best teams in the NFL this whole year. Obviously, Josh Allen is playing also an MVP type level. Even without Stephon Diggs, he's done really well with the wide receiver core he has. He's really elevated the play of like people like Shakir and Keon Coleman. And the Bills have a really solid run game as well with James Cook. And the defense is also really solid. I think it's going to come down to quarterback experience, right? Obviously, like quarterback is the most important position in the league and in the game. Josh Allen is simply a better quarterback than Bo Nix as of right now, and Josh Allen is going to help the Bills win this game. I think it's just simple as that. I would love for Bo Nix and the Broncos to win. I just don't think it's going to happen. Now onto the NFC side. We start off with the Rams and the Vikings. These two teams played before. Rams actually won that one. I think it's going to be a repeat of that same situation. The Vikings, obviously, brilliant team, great team. They've had an amazing year, 14-win season, which is insane for the 5 seed. It shows you really how stacked like the NFC and specifically the NFC North is. But I just don't think the Vikings will be able to hang with the Rams come playoff time. Because, again, QB is the most important position. I think the Vikings have the better overall team. But I also do think the Rams have the much better quarterback, or at least in terms of the quarterback I'd rather trust in the playoffs. Darnold has had a fantastic season. He's been really great. Pro Bowl QB. He's probably been better than Stafford in the regular season. This just based off of this year, obviously. But I trust Stafford a lot more than Darnold in the playoffs. So give me Matt Stafford. Give me the Rams. I think the Rams are going to win and move on to the next round. Next, you got the Bucs Commanders. Another rematch, funny enough. Actually, now that I realize it, a lot of these matchups are like rematches from the regular season. So that's pretty cool. But I think the Bucs having home field advantage is massive in this matchup. The Commanders have a really young team, a really fun team. Jane Daniels is going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's been brilliant this season. Leading the Commanders to the playoffs in his rookie year is crazy. Parallels to RG3. But I just think the Bucs have a just too good of an offense for like the Commanders to like shut down on the defense side of the ball. Obviously, the Commanders have a really good offense too. It's just I think I trust the Bucs team more than this young, inexperienced Commanders team. They've had a lot more playoff games. It's a very veteran-laden team. So I'll go with the Bucs at home. I'll trust them to win this matchup and then move on to the divisional round. Next, we got Eagles-Packers. This game happened in Brazil, I think is where it was, in the first week of the season. Jordan Love unfortunately got hurt in that game. And that game was really fun. It was great. Now it's a rematch of that game. This time it's in Philly. The Eagles have been probably like a top 3 team in the league this year overall. They've been really impressive, both sides of the ball. The defense is much improved from last season. The offense looks really great. Saquon Barkley, honestly speaking, deserves the MVP, but he won't get it because he's not a quarterback. But Saquon's been amazing. Jalen Hurts has been really solid when he's been healthy. I think that's going to be the big factor is Jalen Hurts is coming back from his injury. If he's fully healthy, I think the Eagles should win this game. But if he's still playing hurt, right, or like he's not the same as he was before his injury, I could very well see a route for the Packers to win this game. But again, that depends on Jalen Hurts' injury status and his like health. But it also relies on Jordan Love's health, right? Jordan Love got hurt last week. I think he's going to play, but we don't know how healthy he is when he's playing, right? So based off of that, I'm going to have to roll with the Eagles. They've been the better team throughout the season. They have the better roster. They have arguably the better quarterback. It's debatable. They're really close, right? But I just think the fact that Jordan Love is hurt really hurts the Packers' chances because he's going to be playing banged up. So I'll trust the Eagles on this one. Eagles will win at home, move on to the divisional. So yeah, that's the wild card round. On to the divisional round. We got one of the best matchups potentially of the season in the Ravens-Bills. I'm super excited for this one, if it happens, obviously. But I would love this matchup because Ravens have been one of the best teams in the season, real contender. Same thing with the Bills. I guess they did play earlier in the year, and it was a blowout. But that was like one of the few games the Bills generally struggled in. And I think that rebounded really well off of that loss. Lamar, again, has had his playoff struggles in the past. The question is, do they persist? I think they do. Give me the Bills. Josh Allen is an elite playoff performer. He knows what to do when it comes to playoff time. And he's going to lead the Bills to a win over the Ravens. And Lamar's playoff woes will continue. I just feel like that's the case. The Bills just are going to be able to I think, physically compete with the Ravens on both sides of the ball. And the biggest like reason for me picking the Bills is gonna be that I trust Josh Allen a lot more in the playoffs than Lamar. So I'll take the Bills to go to the conference championship. Next, we got the Chargers and the Chiefs. I know the Chargers lost both their games to the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs are what, like 15-2. They were defending two-time Super Bowl champs. A lot of people think they can go back to back to back. People think the refs are on their side. People think it's luck. Whatever it is, the Chiefs are 15-2. They are the 1 seed. The Chargers lost both games, although both of them were very close. I'm not sure if I trust in the Chargers to beat the Chiefs in Jim Harbaugh's first year. I think eventually it will happen. The Chargers will eventually be one of the teams vying for the Super Bowl. That's my future outlook on the Chargers. It's just right now the Chiefs have the better roster, the better QB, even though, like, actually, based off of this year, Herbert has had a better year than Mahomes, but, like, obviously I trust Mahomes in the playoffs, right? They have the better, like, more experienced QB in the playoffs, and they have Andy Reid, who obviously is a lot more seasoned and veteran than Jim Harbaugh, except we already know Jim Harbaugh is a great coach still. So, but I just think the Chiefs have all the tools to win back to back to back. It's never been done before, so it's not going to happen. I'm going to go the Chargers. In a massive upset, I got the Chargers winning a close one over the Chiefs, and just they'll get revenge on the Chiefs for beating them twice in the regular season. So I know it's probably crazy, but, like, I'm going to trust my gut on this one. I just feel like the Chiefs are vulnerable. They have not been a good 15-2 team, probably one of the worst 15-win teams ever. They've been very shaky. They had a lot of very close wins that could have went the other way. So, and again, good teams do win close, but still, I'll trust the Chargers on this one. Next, on to the NFC side. Rams, Lions, it's going to be the Lions. Like, I love what Matt Stafford has done for the Rams. The Rams have a really fun team. Their wide receiver duo of Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua was amazing. It's just, I think, the Lions, it just seems like it's their year, to finally, like, get over the hump and just continue to contend and compete. The Lions have a better roster than the Rams. They had a much better record. They're playing at home. And also they're getting David Montgomery back for the playoff matchup. So Sonic and Knuckles are back. And I just think the Lions are just going to be better in, like, every sense of the way. And they are better in every sense of the way. I think that's going to continue to persist come the playoff game. Now Bucks, Eagles. This is a rematch of, I think it was last year's playoffs where the Eagles just completely fell apart. But obviously it's not the same Eagles team. They have a much better defense. It's not the same Bucks team either. Chris Godwin's not playing for them right now because he's hurt. But they do have Bucky Irving, who's a rising rookie star. And I would love to pick the Bucks. I love what the Bucks are doing. They have a really fun team. I love Baker. He's been cooking this year. It's just the Eagles are the better team. I think the Eagles are going to win. They have, again, been one of the best teams of the season the entire year. So I think that winning is going to continue. And they're playing at home along with that. So I got the Eagles or the Bucks. I just can't pick two big upsets in the same, like, the divisional round. It's just one was already crazy enough with the Chargers being the Chiefs. I just can't pick the Bucks, But yeah, now on to the AFC Conference Championship game. Chargers, Bills. Chargers are probably not going to make it here, but again, it's my prediction video. I think it will happen, but again, you never know. It probably won't. Chiefs will probably win again, probably win another Super Bowl. But again, Chargers, Bills. The Bills should win this, right? Like, the Chargers don't have as good of a roster. They don't have as good of a QB. They probably have a better head coach, but it's debatable on that one. And they're also playing on the road. So all the factors point towards, like, the Chargers, like, losing this game and the Bills winning and finally making it their first Super Bowl in many, many years. The problem is the Bills have just not gotten over that hump, that hump of going from the conference championship to the Super Bowl. In, like, the past, like, 2 or 3 years, I've always picked the Bills to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl because I was like, this is finally the year. This is finally the year they'll, like, beat the Chiefs, make the Super Bowl, and whatever, right? This year, I was like, you know what? I don't want to pick the Bills at the beginning of the season, right? I actually ended up picking the Texans to win the AFC at the start of the year. I don't think that's going to happen now, but the Bills, again, have, in my opinion, been the most dominant AFC team this entire season. Yes, they have a worse record than the Chiefs, but they beat the Chiefs. They've been more dominant. They've been essentially better in their games than the Chiefs, right? So I trust the Bills enough that they will finally get over that hump and they're going to the Super Bowl. So I got the Bills in the Super Bowl. I got Eagles Lions on the other side. Funny enough, I actually picked the Eagles to win the Super Bowl at the start of the season. Um, and as a result, I'm going to stick with it. The Eagles have been a dominant team. They have a brilliant offense and defense. This Lions Eagles game will be amazing if it happens. It's going to be the 1 seed versus the 2 seed. Both rosters are absolutely loaded with talent. Dan Campbell and Nick Sirianni are really good coaches. And it's just, I think it comes down to whoever has more talent. And even though the Eagles are playing on the road, I think the Eagles just have a little bit more talent on the defensive side of the ball, while the Lions are pretty banged up on that side of the ball. So the injuries will definitely come back to bite them. And even if Hutch comes back for the championship game, I just don't think he's going to be completely healthy. So give me the Eagles to win this, and that brings us to an Eagles-Bills Super Bowl. Again, I had the Eagles to win the Super Bowl this start of the year. I'm going to pick them again. Nah, I ain't picking them. Give me the Bills. This will finally be the year that the Bills win the Super Bowl. I know. I've said it for the past 2, 3, 4 years. And I thought, I might actually switch it up this year. I'm not going to pick the Bills. But I can't. I'm going with the Bills, This has finally got to be the season that they get over the hump and win the whole thing. Or at least bare minimum make it to the Super Bowl. Because it's at that point where it's similar to Peyton and Brady. Whereas Peyton could never beat Brady until that certain point where he finally got over the hump. It's a similar point here, right? Except obviously they didn't face the Chiefs, but I think Josh Allen will finally go over that hump, get to the Super Bowl, and help them win this game. So I got the Bills win the Super Bowl, and that's just the rest of my playoff picture. So yeah, that's basically it for my predictions. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And whatever it is, just put it down in the comments. And that's all I have for today. So long.